for making the next year report for the Everyone campaign. And I'm also, it's also our pleasure to share with you that this workshop is going to be disseminated through the website to the global audience. We are expecting that the global audience will see this workshop through the website. So we have already informed our all global members that IPHN Save the Children USA is going to disseminate this report today. And we hope that lots of international people will see this workshop through the webcam. So we have set our technology and we expect that lots of people will see our workshop. So now we are going to start our program, and I'm requesting Director IPHN and Line Director NNS to give his welcome speech. Professor MD Ekhlasur Rahman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our ex-Director General, Mr. Shamunid Hussain, dignitaries on the dais, and august gathering. Actually, on behalf of Institute of Public Health and Nutrition, IPHN, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all here in this morning to the dissemination workshop for the proper acknowledgement of the report entitled A Life Free from Hunger for Save the Children Global Everyone Campaign for Newborn and Child Survival. You know, it's a very critical situation is prevailing in Bangladesh. We have got a big problem. Bangladesh is a big challenge for this country, and we have got stunting about 43%, underweight 41%, and wasting at 70%. So this is a very alarming situation here. So we want to overcome the situation very soon. This program has been launched internationally on 15 February. The report, A Life Free from Hunger, essentially discusses on the topic of global hunger and malnutrition. I do appreciate the presence of the stakeholders, decision makers and partners who has come to grace this occasion as an expert. IPHN is hosting the workshop to promote nutrition as an advocacy tool for Bangladesh by focusing on different issues of malnutrition prevalent in Bangladesh. And with the financial and technical support from the Save the Children, evidence is implementing the workshop. The workshop will not only discuss about the global hunger and malnutrition, it will promote stakeholders, decision makers and partners with the opportunity to discuss the issues of malnutrition in Bangladesh and identify opportunities to move this important agenda forward. The interaction and sharing of information among the members will not only enrich us, it will also help to create a national rollout plan at the end of the meeting. I hope and look forward to a fruitful conclusion of the meeting that will further enhance and widen cooperation and mutually supportive role among professional bodies, civil society organizations and our own government of Bangladesh. Main focus of my material should be addressed, especially the IOSAF practices, especially the complementary feeding, especially the hand washing and continued feeding, and how to prevent infections. If we can address these problems in this situation, we can overcome the situation very soon. I again welcome you all and thank you all for your kind attention and for patient hearing. Thank you once again.
Now it's time to hear from Michael Foley, Director of Health and Nutrition, Save the Children Bangladesh. Michael Foley will talk about the overview of Save the Children Global Everyone campaign and introduction of the global report, objective of the workshop. Michael Foley.
PowerPoint presentation. But I'd like to thank you all very much for coming here today. I'd also like to thank our distinguished panelists for making the time and giving their support to this, this dissemination and this stakeholder consultation. Because really there are two parts of today. And what I'm trying to do this morning is to give a kind of a brief orientation to Save the Children's Global Everyone campaign for newborn and child survival, to kind of give a background to what Save the Children is intending to do, or is attempting to do internationally. So as I said, I will give an orientation to the Everyone campaign. I'll briefly introduce the publication that we're talking about today, and then I will talk a little bit about the objectives that we're hoping to get out of this workshop. So if you look at this slide represents essentially the moral mandate of the Everyone campaign. No child is born to die, and no mother should die giving birth, yet every year millions do. Save the Children is campaigning to end this injustice. So this is the moral foundation, the crux of the problem that Save the Children is attempting to address at a global scale. Next slide, please. Just some facts to provide some background. These data are perhaps out of date at this time, but 7.6 million children dying, 21,000 every day. 3.1 million of those are newborns, and 358,000 women dying every year due to complications. Next slide, please. So our vision, the vision of the Global Everyone campaign is that no child should die from preventable causes. Our goal is to reach Millennium Development Goal 4. And our objective is really to catalyze breakthroughs in government policy and programs in the places where Save the Children works. Next slide, please. So specific global targets for the campaign is to gain political policy commitment by governments, to reach 50 million young children and mothers a year, to train 400,000 health workers, to gain 60 million actions globally in support of the campaign. This gets to the popular mobilization. We want people around the world to be interested in saving the lives of newborns and children. So we measure that through the actions that they take to help support our campaign. And to raise $2 billion. All this by the end of 2015. Next slide, please. So a snapshot of achievements as of 2010. Very briefly, training 85,000 health workers. Where Save the Children is globally reaching 40 million young children and mothers annually. We've raised about a quarter of the $2 billion. We've had 8 million actions. We played a key role in the development of the UN Every Woman, Every Child strategy, and we've helped secure funding for vaccines. So this is just an example of the achievements that Save the Children is measuring worldwide. Next slide, please. So for 2012, we plan to continue to do the work that we've done, to build on the work that we've done to train and support the deployment of community health workers and health workers generally, and also to support coverage of vaccines. And also in this year, we're addressing hunger and malnutrition specifically as an important wedge issue. Next slide, please. So why hunger and malnutrition? We believe strongly that MDG 4 cannot be reached without tackling malnutrition. It's an underlying cause in a third of all under 5 deaths. It's a critical issue to reach our stated target. The moral imperative that malnourished children are hindered in physical and intellectual development. This is a moral issue. This is the foundation of what we're doing. And also because malnutrition restricts economic development. Next slide, please. So this is a slide showing the levels of malnutrition. 2/3 of malnutrition of stunted children can be found in 10 countries. And Bangladesh is on that list, top 10 countries. Next slide, please. So this report, and I hope everyone has a copy, was released just recently, 15th of February, and it's really meant for a global audience. It outlines the extent of malnutrition problem globally. It explains the effects of malnutrition on the lives of people, tries to give concrete examples of what malnutrition is and does to people in developing countries. And it discusses the factors that contribute to malnutrition, the systemic problems. And then it proposes solutions, or it begins to propose some solutions. And again, this is a global report for a global audience. Next slide, please. So today is really about Bangladesh. I mean, we're going to share the content of the report. We hope that the report is informative and useful. But to make it really useful, we'd like to talk about the themes of this report in the context of Bangladesh. The purpose of this gathering today, really, from the Save the Children perspective, is to contribute to the momentum around addressing malnutrition in Bangladesh. There's been a lot of work that's gone into addressing malnutrition, and we want to add our voice and our weight to that momentum and perpetuate the focus on malnutrition. We want to disseminate the report. We want everyone to have a copy of it, of course. But the most important objective is really to have these discussions this afternoon. So to take the themes of the report and talk about the situation in Bangladesh. Where are we? What's been achieved? What are the opportunities that exist now? And what are the ways in which we can move these actions forward? And with that, I'll end. Thank you very much for your patience, and thank you again so much for coming today and participating.
Thank you, Michael. Now, Dr. Mostafizur Rahman, Program Manager, National Nutrition Services. He will present the keynote presentation. Dr. Mostafizur Rahman.
Good morning. Respectable Additional Secretary, Madam Abdul Mumtaz. Respectable Director General of Health and former Director General of Health as well. Director IPH as well as the Line Director National Nutrition Services, and representative from, I forgot your name. Okay. This is about the lives free from hunger. And we have already seen one book in the folder. This is about this one. And the next page. This is about the magnitude of the problem, global as well as Bangladesh. We can see in this world today, 1 child in 4 is stunted. So 25% child is stunted. More 11.7 million children will be stunted in Sub-Saharan Africa in 2025 compared to 2010. If current trends continue, the lives of more than 450 million children globally will be affected by stunting in the next 15 years. Next slide, please. 7 million more children will be stunted in Asia by 2050 due to climate change. So nutrition is a problem, climate change is a problem, and climate change will affect our nutritional situation. Combination of the global trend, that is climate change, volatile food prices. We have already faced these volatile food prices for the last few years. Economic uncertainty, the global health worker shortage, and demographic shift. So all these are important factors which is underlying cause of malnutrition. Next slide, please. Malnutrition, the true history. Malnutrition is undermining economic growth because we know due to the malnutrition, our productivity, our life is adjusted, we call it DALI. So we cannot produce what we should produce. Improving nutrition is a good investment because When nutrition is good, disease is less, people is fit for one. So if we invest more for the nutrition, we will get better result for the country. The world has enough food for everyone. Even in Bangladesh, we have enough food. The problem is the distribution to all corners. Next slide, please. Solution. What are the solutions? Direct intervention. This direct intervention mainly based on the Lancet series 2008 and evidence-based and protecting families from poverty. So we want to protect the family as well from the poverty, making the global food system work for nutrition. Next slide, please. Galvanizing political commitment. The organization by the world leaders, the role of the nutrition to save the children's lives. This world leader, something like G8, G20, sometimes it is Mexico, sometimes it is UK. So the really policymaker of the total group, Brazil, Bangladesh and Ghana have shown the reduction of the malnutrition. Bangladesh, for the last 3 decades, has achieved a lot, but we need more to handle the situation. High level political commitment is needed. Our political commitment for the nutrition this time is really at the high level, and we are getting all types of support from the policymakers. Next slide, please. Now 2012, this year, why this is a vital year? Nutrition rights for children and to end the hidden malnutrition by the mid 2013. For me, this is optimistic because we are in the 2012 by 2013. We will achieve a lot of things. Anyway, we have to work more. Pledging to vaccine 250 million children by 2015, saving in MTR, due to MTR, the whole point is that is not another point, saving 4 million lives. 40 countries committed a filling 3.5 million health worker gaps. Yeah, we have a lot of health worker gaps, but we are trying to overcome those gaps. Next slide, please. Chapter actually this is about this book. So this report analyzes the causes of malnutrition, chronic malnutrition and stunting in children and identifies solutions. It sets out key recommendations to help every child a life free from hunger. Next slide, please. Chapter 1, it is about outlines the scale of the malnutrition crisis and the causes, consequences of malnutrition, and examines the relationship between economic growth and nutrition. It has a very direct relationship. Next chapter, please. Second chapter. Nutrition experts have agreed 13 low-cost interventions that, if implemented to complete coverage, could reduce stunting by 36% and child death by 25%, saving the life of 2 million children. Consider how these interventions such as exclusive breastfeeding, complementary feeding, macronutrient supplementation, fortification for the intermediate planning can improve the quality of the children's health as well as nutrition as well as well-being. Chapter 3. Next slide, please. There is growing evidence that social protection and the changes to agricultural policy and the practice have real potential to improve the duties of pregnant, diets of the pregnant women as well as the young children. Examine how cash transfer and other social protection schemes can ensure that families are better able to afford healthy food and services. Next step, please. It argues the agricultural policies are not working for the poorest and looks at how agricultural production can be more suited to meet the nutrition needs of children. Next, please. global leaders have committed a new nutrition initiative to enhance investment in these solutions. For example, scaling up of nutrition, well known as the SAR movement. Examines the political factors that contribute to the global burden of hunger and malnutrition, and recommends how government, multilateral agencies, business, and the individuals can play their part to tackling the problems. Now the 6 key steps. Number 1 step is make malnutrition visible. Because malnutrition sometimes is not visible. This is hidden hunger. Chronic malnutrition is not visible, and this is called silent killer. So we have to have one source of idea, this child is dead, but it is dead due to the cardiovascular failure. We are not writing in the death certificate, this is due to the malnutrition as well. Number 2, invest in the direct intervention. That direct intervention is the basis is Lancet series 2008, 13 intervention. Fill the health workers gap. We have already discussed. We have gap globally as well as in the country. We are trying to overcome this gap. Next, protect family from poverty. This is about food security, how Ministry of the Health can contribute. We can advocate household nutrition gardening. We can correlate with other safety net program of this country like PGD, PGF. For supplement will come from other ministries who will provide the nutrition guideline as well as the awareness creation and other. Next, harness agriculture to help tackle malnutrition. Harness, tackle malnutrition. Support from the small scale support we can provide farmers to the farmers, especially the women farmers, because they can contribute to the family to add something at the top of the regular income of the family. Galvanizing political leadership. This political leadership we can mention here United States G8 and Mexican G20 in 2012, UK G8 in 2030. So these all are national, international political commitment for reducing malnutrition globally. And we have our own political commitment in the country to contribute for reducing malnutrition in this country, unless we work to reduce the malnutrition of this country in collaboration with all the relevant operation plans under DG Health, DG Family Planning, as well as for urban with other ministries, and we will overcome the situation in this country with all our support, with all our efforts, with all our commitment. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafizur Rahman. Now I'm requesting Professor Shah Munir Hussain, Senior Brazil Eminence and former Director General of DGHS, to give his special guest speech. Professor Shah Munir Hussain.
The chief guest of this session, Professor Dr. Khandekar Mohammad Saifatullah, Director General of Health Service, Mr. Michael Foley from Director Health and Nutrition from the Save the Children in Bangladesh, Mr. Akhtar Mohammed, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Muhammad Ikhlasul Rahman, Director IPHM, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking on nutrition and hunger. Actually, if you make a circle, poverty, food security, malnutrition, and awareness, all these four issues, if you can really address, really we can reduce the not only the child mortality but also the morbidity. So that has become a big challenge, not for only the Bangladesh, as well as globally. And here today, we'll be discussing on the global situation, but Bangladesh must have a priority in the global situation related to the malnutrition. Actually, we need to overcome this issue by number of interventions. As has been mentioned in the keynote speech, that political challenges is a very important part of it. But the policy making is another important part, because the policy makers has to decide how we will intervene. The intervention has to be taken. As you know, in Bangladesh for the last 1 decade, this nutrition program we are running it as a vertical program. Not mainstreaming the total nutrition program in the healthcare program, healthcare systems. So that may have the opportunity to address the issue in a very pilot areas, but overall the country was missing. So in our next sector program, we have mainstreamed in nutrition with the health sectors, so that in total we can address this issue of nutrition. This is a very much multi-sectoral issue. The only health ministry cannot deal with it. So we must have a strong coordination with the other ministries, particularly the agriculture and others, environmental and other ministries. And for that, a community involvement is very important. Very important. I think there should be an interventions to involve the community, because if you can just involve the community, only the health workers cannot improve the nutritional status of the country. So is the awareness and thinking of the community that where we are and what is our desirable expectations and what is the gap. If you really find out the gap, of course, if we can really bring the awareness among the community, nutrition problem can be solved in a better way. Because the question is, hunger is there because of the food security. Yes, I agree. But the behavioral problem is also there. Even that there is the food available, but because of the behavioral problem, nutritional problem is there. I was discussing with one of the very senior political leaders of the country a few days back related to the nutrition. He said, forget about it. If the economic growth is there, improved, nutrition will automatically improve. I said, this is not a right concept. But this is the sometimes concept of some political leaders, that if you can really improve the economic growth, automatically the nutritional status will be there. But it's not true. So what we have to do, we have to make them understand that to improve the nutrition, we need number of interventions, particularly the behavioral changes in the community, and of course the health sectors, as well as an integrated effort to improve the nutritional issue. And I'm sure we are heading towards the right direction with the leaderships of the Director General of Health Services, and of course through this Ministry of Health, we will overcome the challenges. The present situation is improving, and I hope that there will be changes. And these workshops today will give us the opportunity to work on it, and I'm sure the recommendations come out through these workshops will give us the opportunity to improve the intervention areas in the nutrition. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm sure the Save the Children, along with the eminence, and of course the Institute of Public Nutrition will work together to overcome this issue. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Shah Munir Sen. Now I am requesting Akhtari Momtaz, Additional Secretary, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, to give her special guest speech. Akhtari Momtaz.
Respected Chair, special guests and chief guests and other guests and my colleagues, good morning. Actually, I was joined suddenly in this meeting. I came here some other purpose, and from ANS, Dr. Mustafiz invited me to join this, and I joined Yes, I was interested to listen. Actually, I came to know from the presentation everyone Save the Children's Global initiative. I appreciate the initiative, and we came to know from Mr. Michael's presentation the global status regarding the nutrition and the initiatives how they are plan to address this issue. Bangladesh also suffering some forms of severe malnutrition, and also the government has taken the initiative to address these undernutrition problems through National Nutrition System under the HPNSDP, the new sector program, current sector program. And previously, the nutrition issue was addressed through a vertical program, National Nutrition Program (NNP), that was covered around 171 sub-districts. And now, in this present program, NNS National Nutrition Service, it will be covered all over the country, and the nutrition service will be provided through the health and family planning, all service delivery centers. And we hope that this will be better modalities to address the nutrition issues, and we will achieve our targeted goal in coming this 5 years program, and we reach our target. And this is a good evidence also that our National Nutrition Service program, and also the Save the Children jointly working on this area. This is a good initiative. Actually, collaboration is very much needed in this area of nutrition, because nutrition has lots of cross-cutting issues. So if we want to address our undernutrition, so we need to work together. And actually, together everyone achieves more, And if we want to go, actually, first we can go alone maybe, but if we want to go far, we need to go together. So I wish the success of this collaborative initiative, and I hope we will achieve our target regarding undernutrition in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you all, Dr. Mumtaz, for your kind speech and inspiration for this joint collaboration effort. Now we are going to have our chief guest speech, Professor Dr. Khandekar M.D. Shafaatullah, Director General of Health Services. He will give now the chief guest speech, Professor Dr. Khandekar M.D. Shafaatullah.
A live free from hunger and stakeholder concentration on malnutrition in Bangladesh. The consultative meeting, Honorable Chairperson, Professor M.D. Akhlasur Rahman, Director IPHN and Line Director NNS, and present in dais, Professor Shah Monir Hussain, ex-Director of Health Services. He is my direct teacher of pathology in Medical College also, and Senior Advisor Eminence and former Social Eminence, and here present in dais is Akhtar Mumtaz, Additional Secretary, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, and I give thanks to two presenters, Michael Foley, Director of Health and Nutrition, Save the Children, Bangladesh, and Dr. Mustafizur Rahman, Program Manager, National Nutrition Services, and other participants.
participants of an expert and resource person of different organizations, both government and non-government side also. I give thanks to everybody. I think the consultative meeting is very much time sensitive consultative meeting because the nutrition now in position of or enters in new era of health service. In SPN SP, we know that NNP is a parallel project running with the ministry, but possibly the every corners of the health profession and other profession, or like donor agency, everybody try to create a momentum or transform into a mainstream. This was the slogan of different corners of the health professional and other professional group. Now as a Director General, I feel proud we are in mainstreaming position, and our center program, the running center program, our SPN SGP, we converted a vertical program into a new operation plan in under DGHS, National Nutrition Service. It is a separate operation plan and operated by or act as a director, line director IPH. I think the nutrition status of the country, finally the program will come to the relevant institute or like relevant person. To provide nutrition, it is a constitutional obligation for the government to provide service to the people. We are now taking a very challenging job. I always say it is a very challenging job for the health professional or health administration. For this reason, we expedite or try to know all things of the nutrition. Here the Director IPH is present, the implementation committee and the National Steering Committee. All the committees now activate and try to expedite or create a great momentum to provide the nutrition service to the country as a whole. National advocacy meeting already held. In next stage is the advocacy meeting in divisional level will be held. Finally, the activity of the operation plan is going on. A new and young deputy program manager and very learned program manager is appointed here to expedite or create a dynamicity in this operation plan and to provide the nutritional service to the country. I think in this moment, this consultative meeting is very much helpful for the nutrition field also. I think as a Director General of Health Services, in this meeting, I see here the heavy related expert and relevant person present here. In this meeting, they provide the valuable inputs and things. Heavy interaction occurs in this meeting, and ultimately we get a very fruitful result, which ultimately expedite our program. The aim of the consultative meeting to build the individual capacity building in this subject. Ultimately, it builds our institutional capacity building and ultimately nationwide build-up. I think this consultative meeting will be very fruitful for the next step of work in the field of nutrition. Finally, I give thanks to IPHN and Eminence Bangladesh and also Save the Children Bangladesh to arrange this type of consultative meeting. And finally, I declare the grand opening of the consultative meeting and wish every success of the meeting and success of our nutrition program. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, sir, for your kind speech. We are a little bit, earlier in terms of the schedule, 10 minutes earlier. We're supposed to finish our, inauguration session at 11. So we are very much on time. So this is the time for our tea break. So we can have 15 minutes time for tea break. Then we'll go for our group work and then group presentation. I just want to announce that Ashit Kumar Muktamoni, Additional Secretary, Minister of Food and Disaster Management, he will arrive within few minutes. He called us and he said that he like to participate in this meeting, so he's coming to join with us. So we will have a 15 minutes tea break time. So have your tea and then we'll again start at 11 a.m. Thank you.
লাইনে আছো নাকি? না আমি বুঝতে পারি নাই, তুমি কি গ্যাস দেওয়া শেষ হয়েছে তোমার? না আমি 10 মিনিট পরে রওনা দিলে তুমি নিয়ে বাইরে করবো 10 মিনিট পরে 15 মিনিট পরে। তুমি এখানে পৌঁছে আমার মিস করে দিবে। এখানে পৌঁছে মিস করে দিবে।
ঠিক আছে, আমি চেক করতেছি, আপনি একটু দেখেন। টাকা বেশি পাবো যেটা পাবো সেটা দিতে পারছি ওই টাকাটা থার্ড কোয়ার্টার টাকাটা দিতে পারছি এখান থেকে যাওয়া আসতে মুশকিল হয়েছে কিন্তু আজকে শেষ করে ওখানে গিয়ে তখন ওখান থেকে আগে ছিল না 2 বছর বেতন পাই পার ইয়ার 2 বছর এটা 80% 200% না তখন আপনার কখন তখন 2 মাসের ছেলে 2 মাসের বেশি পার ইয়ার
হ্যাঁ ছিল সার্ভিস ডাকছেন সবাইকে
ওইটা দেখি
এক মিনিট আছে। 11টায় জি জি। Dear all, we are going to start our second session, the group work session, and it's our pleasure that Ashit Kumar Muktamoni, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Food and Disaster Management, he is with us. So I would like to request Ashit Kumar Muktamoni to start this session by giving his valuable speech. Ashit Kumar Muktamoni.
May God bless us all. We are clustered here. We are here for making a very good end. How much that will be earned by us by doing our job, by our endeavor, by our efforts, I don't know. But still, we shall fight for that. Hunger is a problem. All over the world, it is an issue. How much we can do for the better satisfaction of the hunger, and that is our main work and main goal, I think. Here we are discussing a lot about this matter. We have already in the meantime distributed some copies, some booklets, etc., etc. But to my case, I like to say that we are working here for the last many years. After the liberation war, we got our independence, and after the independence, basically I should say the development of the country is remarkable, no doubt. In this respect, I am obviously optimistic, but at the same time, it is needless to say that we have increased our population by 8 to 9 crore, including the backlog population of 7 crore. That means we can say now our population is running nearing 16 crore. So after liberation, we have developed a lot, no doubt. Again, we must say we have increased our population by 8 crore, means 80 million. 80 million. But whenever we are thinking about the population of Europe, especially the population of Britain or other countries of the European countries, we are observing their population is standstill. In some countries, the population is gearing down. That means their population growth is negative. Britain is running for the last 50 years with a population of 5.5 crore. But we are running, in the meantime, for the last 40 years, we have increased our population by 80 million. So it is very difficult and dangerous a matter we are dealing with. Hunger is and it was. But when we are thinking about the hunger in our country, I cannot think of how we can satisfy this hunger and in what way we are managing this problem. I think and believe at heart, especially the environment of this country is very fertile for satisfying the hunger. Otherwise, it could never be possible to satisfy our huge population, because it is very difficult to supply food to the people of 16 crore in our country, because the country is very small one in area. Still, we have 20% of our land is hilly area. So we are getting nearing 80% non-hilly area. And if you exclude the housing areas or the riverine areas, etc., we shall get not more than 60% of our area which can be used for this population. So we can easily say our 16 crore people are very much living within the 60% area of this country. This is really unthinkable in the context of America, who is very much beside me, or in the context of Canada. So the problem is really huge. And still we are fighting for it. I think there are many things to be done. First of all, if we look to the dedication of Dr. Amartya Sen, when he dedicated his life in this arena, and he earned his Nobel Prize in this respect. And he devised some programs and procedures how to satisfy the hunger and how to satisfy the want of the human being. If we can follow it accordingly, to some extent, I do believe at heart, we can get some sorts of satisfaction in this respect. But to follow it up, it is a very difficult matter. Everything must be done timely, properly, and accordingly. If it is not done timely, properly, and accordingly, and if the planning is not done accordingly, if the calculation of the planning, if the demonstration of the planning, and if the execution of the planning is not done accordingly, the result will not be obviously proper and right as we are expecting. It may be different, it may be boomerang. Whenever we are going to work for getting something good, if it is not started at the need of the time, and if it is not finished according to the plan and device, which is very much outlet, then the result may be obsolete or may be reversed. If I go to say or to file an example regarding this matter, we are doing a lot of work for eliminating hunger from our society. All the NGOs are working. All the GOs are working. There are 13 ministries of this country are working for satisfying hunger, especially for giving food, or especially for giving relief to the stakeholders, as well as they are trying to increase their earning situation. But are we getting the proper result? In many cases, we are getting some, but in many cases we are not. If we go deep into the matter, we must see that we have taken up these projects by 13 ministries, and as well as there are 69 safety net projects is governed by the ministries. But whenever we shall go for eliminating all these projects or evaluating all these projects, monitoring all these projects, what result we shall get? We shall get, if we accumulate all these things, that to some extent it may be seen there are some duplication or nearing duplication or nearing triplication. In this way, we are just misusing our capability, misusing our wealth, misusing our energy and time time is the main factor. If we pass the time, time will catch us and time will give us punishment. Because every moment we are increasing our population. And where the population is increasing? Generally, if we look into the matter, we are seeing the population are generally increasing among the poor folks of our country. We the people who are sitting over here, we have no population pressure. Upon our head, as well as population pressure, we are exerting upon the country. But those who are lying outside, those who are lying apart from the life, as well apart from the work, as well apart from the civilized life, they are just increasing their population. Sometimes it may be seen or it may be calculated, it is very correlated. Poverty and population increase is a correlated matter. Where lies the correlation? It is a very matter discussed by the social scientists as well as the medical scientists. But to speak frankly in this respect, I should say population is always increasing among the poor folks of our country. And the disparity of population growth among the haves and among the have-nots is creating the real problem of the country. Because those people who have the ability, they are producing less people. And if they produce more people, these people can be turned into a wealth of the country. But when they are producing one or two child. And when the rickshaw puller, or when the land laborer is producing 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 children. Whenever he is giving birth 5 to 8 children, these 8 children is a disproportionate growth of the population figure of the country. Because we the people are producing less child and supporting the country in this way or that way, whether in this way or that way they are producing much child for the country. And if this situation goes on in our country, it will turn into a havoc. And the total steering will go out to solve the situation. Now we have the time to think over it in a very fine, in a very dedicated way. If we cannot think and if we cannot devise, just standing on the same board or on the same time, future will teach us a very bad lesson for us. Because in the meantime, we are experiencing a lot of problems in our country. And I think this is the time to think over it consciously. We are taking up projects, but we are not satisfying it. Whenever we are thinking about the millennium goal, our millennium goal is to satisfy the hunger within the next 2015. But how much we have already been advanced? That has to be calculated first. If we go for calculation, we are thinking that our poverty level has decreased. It has poverty level of the poverty, figure of the poverty or figure of the poor population has decreased. It was 40 and now it was 32. If this can be calculated accordingly, the hunger has going a decreased rate. It is not supposed to say so, because hunger is still, we are still fighting hunger. Hunger in one country is not a total picture of the whole world. In 1850, the total population of the world was 200 crore, but the total population of now in the world is 700 crore. 1850 and 2010, there is a distance of only 160 years. There is a distance of only 160 years. Within this 160 years, we have increased 5,500 crore people in the country, in the world. Then the gravity of the situation is so deep and so deep-rooted, we have to think over it. Now what we like to say regarding this matter, we need a very good plan. Considering all the factors, if we can formulate a plan accordingly, and we can go for a proper and timely execution of the plan for satisfying the better need of the people and need of the country, then to some extent our country will be safe. Now we are thinking about our country, we are not thinking about the whole world. The whole world will be thought by other agencies, and the agencies are very much active in this respect. But I should say in this respect, if we are not careful about it, our plan will not be executed. We have taken a plan in the last time, but the plan was not executed accordingly. We are taking up plans now. Whether this plan will be executed accordingly or not, that fully depends upon our prudence and upon our capability, or upon our indication, or upon our devotion. Whether we are devoted or not to this cause, that has to be analyzed first. If we are devoted to the cause, and if we go for deep into the situation and deep into the matter in such a way for searching the real opportunities to solve the questions, then to some extent we can do a lot in this respect. We have in the meantime, I should say, outlined how to satisfy this problem by the integrated effort of us all. If we can produce more food, not only the production, but if we can keep a fine distribution of it, and if we can produce good quality food, and not only good quality food, if we go for reserving or preserving this food in a fine way, and go for a fine distribution among the have-not people in the nick of the time, then to some extent this problem can be reduced. What we are now thinking, if we can calculate, how much programs and projects are very much working within the country, if we can assimilate it, aggregate it, and can go for verifying the duplication or triplication, can avoid it, and make a fine program regarding this matter, fine project regarding this matter, fine planning regarding this matter, to some extent our future process of execution will be lucid and will be pliable. We are always doing seminars and symposiums. We are always suggesting how much and how far our suggestion is carrying out into effect. That is also a question. We have clustered here from different corners of the country, from different agencies and from different disciplines. We are investing our energies in this respect. But whether our energy is bringing some fruitful results in the coming days or not, that is also a question. If we cannot simply lose our energy in such a way. If a symposium is done, it has to be carried out, the result, the outline, the decision has to be carried out or has to be maintained in a regular way, so that we can get real effect of the symposium. But I don't know whether we are doing this symposium or seminar here, we are talking many things about, and how far will the plan will be executed, and how, in what way the plan will be oriented, we do not know. If it is only a symposium check, then it has no utility. If the result of this symposium and workshop goes for further improvement, then really it may bring something good for the country. So we must think about the matter very deeply. I should say, a hungry man knows no law. If it is true, then for the very safety of our own back and skin, it is needless to say we have to take a proper project. Otherwise, our future will be shattered, will be cut. What we are thinking now may not be so fine as we are thinking now. So, for the better protection of our own skin, we have to take a project and we have to be dedicated in this respect. Because not keeping the hungry man satisfied, we cannot make our edifices of joys and pleasures. I like to say in this respect. So, for the betterment of the mankind, we have to do all of our things, all of our agendas, all of our thinkings, clustering in such a way so that we can get the proper result. This is also a desire of the God. We have taken up projects for satisfying the hunger of those people who are not at all related with production. They are working for getting food and satisfying their family. They are very much associated with us. We are just utilizing their labor. And if we do not think really for them, for giving them a very good result, then it will be very bad for us. I must not go much more detail in this respect. I have to say many more things. I have many more points, but I think the time is very short. And this is one of the very material matter whenever we join into a workshop. We have clustered from many corners, but whenever we are going to say something, whenever we are going to storm something upon some point, there we are always thinking there are some bells ringing behind me or because time is very short. This is a very unwise decision, so far I think. Whenever we shall think over a very deep matter, we must exercise very deeply. When it demands time for more than 5 hours or for more than 5 days, we shall think over it. We shall storm our day. But whenever it is very much limited for everybody, then everybody will feel shaky to express his own feelings and express his own satisfaction. However, whenever we are going in the coming days, we must think over the matter. Again, I shall say about some points about the nutrition. We are taking food, but we are not getting nutrition. That is also another point. And it is the very important. How much work are being done in this respect, I do not know. To some extent I know, but it is very much handled by the crude, by the non-educated personnel of the country. Whenever I am observing in my own house, what I see, the food is cooked in such a way, it is not keeping always maintain the hygienic situation or the nutrition. If I lost the nutrition, then in what way the uneducated people can increase their nutrition? Whether we are taking up projects or thinking regarding this matter and going for implementation of this, then to some extent it will satisfy our future. So not only the production, but also the execution and about the nutrition knowledge, if these are being very much combined in a very closely and needed way, to some extent our future can smile over our faces and we can get the golden days. But for getting the golden days, we have to labor hard in a concise and in a devoted way, in a well-planned way. If we well-plan everything and go for satisfying it, exhibiting it, I think if we lost the time today, this time will give us the better benefit tomorrow. Thank you all. Thank you for giving me time, Master.
Thank you, dear sir, for your well and in-depth speech to give a pathway to do the nutrition work in our country. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Munisha, who is very popular, Shahnaz Munni, who is very popular among our media and who is working in ATN Bangla for a long time as a journalist and who is taking care for the health perspective as well as the nutrition purposes. I just want to take this privilege to have a small speech from you in terms of this inauguration of this Everyone report. Shahnaz Munni.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance to speak something here in this workshop. I'm not an expert really, I'm a journalist and most of my time I covered the health issue and political and as well as other issues. I just want to share some of my experience here, and I share this experience in Bangla because it is very much natural for me. Okay, and আমি যখন কিনা ম্যালনিউট্রিশন বা অপুষ্টির উপর রিপোর্ট করতে যাই তখন আপনারা জানেন যে it's not very much excited report really like politics or crime. So every time news editor put the news at the last of the running order, but we who are really willing to do something for our rural children or on health issue, doing work on health issue, we really search for this type of issue. In Bangladesh, many times I going to the Shishu hospital, children hospital, where there is a malnutrition unit, and we find many children there who are malnutrition. And I talk with their mother, I talk with their doctor, and mainly what I see that many mother doesn't know how they can give food their children. Many times they do not give them breastfeeds, and they put some water with some milk powder and put it with water and they feed it to their child. And for that because they don't know that breastfeeding is good for her children's health. এবং অনেক সময় এরকম হয়েছে যে আমি ডাক্তারদের সঙ্গে কথা বলেছি, ডাক্তাররা বলেছেন যে মা এত অপুষ্টি শিকার যে মায়েরও ওইভাবে দুধ দিতে পারছে না বাচ্চাদেরকে। তো একই সঙ্গে এটা হচ্ছে সচেতনতার অভাব, এবং আরেক সঙ্গে হচ্ছে মা যেহেতু অপুষ্টি শিকার তার বাচ্চাটাও অপুষ্টি শিকার হয়, এবং সেভাবেই ইটস এ চেইন মেইনলি। তা আমরা অনেক সময় গ্রামে গিয়ে দেখেছি, বেশ কয়েক বছর আগে পুষ্টি আপা বলে একজন ছিলেন যিনি কিনা নানা রকম খাবার টাবার মিলিয়ে ম্যালনিউট্রিশন বাচ্চাদেরকে দিতেন। ওই পোস্টটা এখন আছে কিনা আমি জানি না। তারা একসময় একটা ভালো অবদান রেখেছিলেন গ্রামের বাচ্চাদের স্বাস্থ্যের ক্ষেত্রে। আমার মনে হয় যে মিডিয়ার আসলে এই ক্ষেত্রে অনেক কিছু করার আছে, যদিও আমরা ঠিক ওইভাবে পারি কি না। আমাদের মাইন্ডসেটটা এরকম হয়েছে যে আমরা এইসব ইস্যুকে আসলে খুব একটা গুরুত্ব দিই না, যদিও এসব গুরুত্ব দেওয়া খুবই প্রয়োজন। এবং ধীরে ধীরে আসলে মিডিয়ার মধ্যে এই সচেতনতাটা বাড়ছে যে তারা এই ইস্যুগুলোকে আস্তে আস্তে গুরুত্ব দিচ্ছেন এবং সামনের দিকে আনছে। আমি আশা করব যে সামনের দিনগুলোতে আরও নিশ্চয়ই বাড়বে। সেই সঙ্গে আমার আরেকটা আবেদনও থাকবে, যারা এই সেক্টরে এক্সপার্ট হিসেবে কাজ করেন তাদের যদি জার্নালিস্টদের সাথে একটা ভালো সম্পর্ক থাকে এবং তারা যদি আমাদেরকে ইনফরমেশন দিয়ে হেল্প করেন তাহলে আমাদের পক্ষে সুবিধা হয় এই ধরনের রিপোর্টিংগুলো করতে। আরেকটা জিনিস যে মিডিয়ার প্রসঙ্গই যখন আসলো, মিডিয়াতে মায়ের দুধের পক্ষে প্রচারণা কতখানি হয় আমি জানি না, কিন্তু এর বাইরে যেগুলো কিনা এক্সট্রা ফুড আছে তার প্রচারণাগুলো অনেক বেশি হয়, এবং সেগুলো এত ফুলিয়ে ফাঁপিয়ে এত সুন্দর কালারফুল ওয়েতে করা হয় যে অনেক মায়েরাই বিভ্রান্ত হয়, অনেক লোকজন মানে মায়েরা বাবারা পরিবার সবাই বিভ্রান্ত হয়। এমনকি শিশুরা অনেক সময় বলে যে ঠিক আছে আমি লম্বা হচ্ছি না, আমি হয়তো কমপ্লেন খেলে লম্বা হয়ে যাবো, আমাকে কমপ্লেনটা দাও। তো এইসব ক্ষেত্রে আমার মনে হয় যে আমাদের কিছু আমরা পারি কিনা নীতি নির্ধারণ মহলে কিছু লবিং করতে কিংবা অ্যাডভোকেসি করতে, যাতে এই ধরনের যেগুলো খাবার বাচ্চাদের ওই অর্থে পুষ্টি সাপোর্টটা দেয় না কিন্তু তাদের বিজনেস বাড়াতে, তারা এটা দিয়ে বিজনেস করে, সেই বিজনেসের জায়গাগুলোতে তাদেরকে এথিক্যালি কিছু একটা করা যায় কিনা এই ব্যাপারে আমার মনে হয় যারা অ্যাডভোকেসি ওয়ার্ক করেন তাদেরও কিছু করার আছে। আমাদের মিডিয়ার লোকজন আমরা আমাদের অনেক সীমাবদ্ধতা আছে, তার মধ্যেও আমরা চেষ্টা করি কিছু কিছু কাজ করতে। তো অনেক ধন্যবাদ আমাকে এখানে আমার এই অভিজ্ঞতাটুকু শেয়ার করতে দেওয়ার সুযোগ দেওয়ার জন্য।
Thank you, Shahnaz Munnir. I really appreciate for your time and come today and give your speech. Now we are going for our group work. There will be 3 groups. When you registered, you found our team gave you a tag with Group A, Group B, and Group C. So there will be 3 groups and 3 facilitators. Shushmita Hossain Khan, Shohana Shamrin Chaudhary, and Dina Farahna will give